I never thought that I would ever be burying my child. I never thought that. I thought my kids would be burying me.
Jasmine Bennett and Darnell Johnson got the news on Saturday they feared the most. After weeks of searching for 17-year-old London Thomas, police knocked on their door.
When they told us they found her body, I couldn't breathe. I'm like, this can't be real. Like no, my she's coming home. She's alive. Like this is not real.
According to neighbors living here on Millard near Berg Road in Southfield, police discovered the body of London Thomas inside an SUV parked in the driveway to this home.
A mother helped her son murder his 17-year-old girlfriend. Then they stuffed her body in a plastic bin, called a friend to move it, and left it in an SUV for 2 weeks while police searched everywhere. Her name was London Thomas. She was 17 years old, and the last place she was seen alive was her boyfriend's house in Inkster, Michigan, at 4 in the morning on April 5, 2025. The boyfriend, 23-year-old Jalen Pendergrass, his mother, 49-year-old Charla Pendergrass, and according to prosecutors, they both killed her together. This isn't a story about a boyfriend who snapped. This is a story about a mother who helped her son commit murder, who called a friend to move a sealed bin without telling him what was inside, who lied to police for months, who tried to get away with it. And almost did. But before we dive into what happened that night, if you're already hooked and you want to hear every disturbing detail of this case, do me a favor, hit that like button right now, drop a comment with your theories, and subscribe because this case gets darker with every single minute. Now let's get into the story of London Thomas. London Thomas was 17 years old, just 17. She lived in Detroit, Michigan, on Albert Street with her mother and stepfather, Darnell Johnson. She had her whole life ahead of her, dreams to chase, places to go, people to become. But she'd been dating Jalen Pendergrass, and that's where everything went wrong. Jalen was 23 years old, 6 years older than London. Now I know what you're thinking, a 23-year-old dating a 17-year-old high school girl, that's already a red flag the size of a billboard. The age gap, the power imbalance, the maturity difference. This wasn't some innocent teenage romance. This was an adult man dating a child. And by early April 2025, that relationship had ended. They'd broken up. London was done. She was moving on. She was trying to leave that chapter behind her. So why did she go back to his house on April 5th at 4 in the morning? That's the million-dollar question. And honestly, we may never know the full answer. Did Jalen call her and ask her to come over? Did she need to pick up her things? Was there some kind of confrontation they needed to have? Did he manipulate her into coming back one last time? What we do know is this. Prosecutors stated that their relationship had allegedly ended at the time she arrived at the house in Inkster. That's official language. That's what the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office said. The relationship was over when she showed up. So London wasn't going there for a romantic reunion. She wasn't going there to get back together. She was going there for some other reason. And whatever that reason was, it cost her her life. April 5th, 2025, 4 a.m. The sun hasn't even come up yet. Most of Inkster, Michigan is asleep, but London Thomas is wide awake. Her sister drives her to Jalen Pendergrass's house on the 27,200 block of Carlisle Street near Inkster Road. It's a residential neighborhood, houses on both sides, quiet, ordinary. London gets out of the car. Her sister watches her walk up to the door, watches her go inside, and then drives away. That's the last time anyone outside that house sees London Thomas alive. Think about that for a second. London's sister watched her walk into that house, had no idea what was about to happen, no idea that she'd just dropped her sister off at the place where she'd be murdered. Hours pass. London doesn't come home, she doesn't text, she doesn't call. For a 17-year-old in 2025, that's unusual. We're all glued to our phones, we're all checking in, we're all connected. But London, radio silence. Her family starts to worry immediately. This isn't like her, something's wrong, they can feel it. Later that same day, April 5th, London's sister files a missing persons report with Inkster police. She tells them exactly what happened. She dropped London off at Jalen Pendergrass's house at 4 a.m. London never came back. That was the last time anyone saw her. The next day, April 6th, London's mother files another missing persons report, this time with Detroit police. Now you've got two police departments involved, two agencies looking for a 17-year-old girl who vanished into thin air. Inkster police immediately go to Jalen's house. They knock on the door, they question him. When did you last see London? What happened that morning? Where is she now? And Jalen tells them he doesn't know. He says London left, says she walked out the door and he hasn't seen her since, says he has no idea where she went. The police search the house. They're looking for any sign of London, any clue about what happened. They bring in more resources. The FBI gets involved. Michigan State Police get involved. This is now a major missing persons investigation. They search that house top to bottom. They're looking for blood, for signs of a struggle, for anything that might tell them what happened to London Thomas. But they don't find her because London isn't there anymore. While police are investigating, London's family is living through absolute hell. Imagine being London's mother. Your 17-year-old daughter goes to her ex-boyfriend's house and never comes home. Police are searching, days turn into weeks, and you have no answers, no body, no closure, just an empty space where your daughter used to be. London's family doesn't just sit around waiting for police to find her. They take action. They print missing persons flyers, hundreds of them. They plaster them all over Inkster, Detroit, and the surrounding areas, on telephone poles, in store windows, on community boards, anywhere someone might see London's face. They post on social media. They share her photo everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. They're begging for anyone with information to come forward. They organize search parties. They walk through neighborhoods. They check abandoned buildings. They search parks and alleys. They're doing everything humanly possible to find their daughter. And the whole time, London is already dead. Her body is sealed inside a plastic bin, and that bin is sitting in an SUV 15 miles away in Southfield, Michigan. Jalen knows where she is, Charla knows where she is, and they're not saying a word. 3 weeks go by, 21 days of searching, 21 days of hopping, 21 days of London's family praying for a miracle. And then on April 26, 2025, police get a phone call, a tip, from a man who knows Charla Pendergrass. This phone call changes everything. The man tells police that on April 7th, just 2 days after London disappeared, Charla Pendergrass called him. She asked him for a favor. She needed help moving something, a sealed plastic bin. Now this is important. She didn't tell him what was in the bin. She didn't give him any details. She just said she needed it transporting from one location to another. Specifically, she needed it moved to a house on Millard Street in Southfield. The man agreed. On April 11th, he picked up the bin. He said it was heavy, really heavy. It was sealed shut with tape. He loaded it into an SUV that was parked at the Millard Street address, and he left it there. He didn't ask questions. He didn't open the bin. He just did what Charla asked him to do. But then he started seeing the news. He saw stories about London Thomas, a 17-year-old girl missing from Inkster. He saw that her boyfriend, Jalen Pendergrass, was being questioned, and he saw that Jalen's mother was named Charla Pendergrass. The same Charla who had asked him to move a heavy, sealed plastic bin to a house in Southfield. He put 2 and 2 together, and he called the police. Michigan State Police, FBI agents, and Detroit police officers rushed to the house on Millard Street in Southfield. This is it. This could be the break they've been waiting for. They find the SUV. It's parked in the driveway, exactly where the tipster said it would be. They approach it carefully, open the back, and there it is. The plastic bin, sealed, just like the man described. Officers open the bin, and the smell hits them immediately, the unmistakable odor of decomposition, of death. Inside the bin is London Thomas, her body, stuffed inside, crammed into that plastic container like garbage. She'd been there for 2 weeks. 2 weeks in an SUV in April in Michigan, temperatures rising, her body decomposing, while her family searched for her, while police questioned Jalen, while Charla pretended she knew nothing. The Oakland County medical examiner is called to the scene. London's body is removed. An autopsy is performed. Cause of death, asphyxiation. Someone strangled London Thomas. Someone wrapped their hands around her neck or used something to cut off her air supply and squeezed until she stopped breathing, until she stopped fighting, until she died. And then they put her body in a bin, sealed it up, and had it moved to another city to hide the evidence. Hash the ARISTS and the legal loopholes. You'd think that once London's body was found, Jalen and Charla would be immediately arrested and charged with murder, right? Wrong. This is where the case gets frustrating. This is where the legal system shows its cracks. Police arrest both Jalen and Charla. They question them, but neither one is talking. They lawyer up. They stay silent. Charla gets charged with lying to a peace officer during a violent crime investigation. That's a felony in Michigan. It means she lied to police while they were investigating London's murder. But here's the problem. The person Charla lied to was an FBI agent, and under Michigan law, FBI agents don't qualify as peace officers. That term specifically refers to state and local law enforcement. Federal agents don't count. So in August 2025, the charge against Charla is dismissed. She walks free. Jalen gets arrested on a completely different charge, filing a false police report in Novi, Michigan. That's a separate city, a separate incident, but at least it gives police a reason to hold him. His bond is set at $25,000. He posts it, and he walks free too. For months, neither Jalen nor Charla is charged with London's murder. The case appears to stall. London's family is furious. The community is outraged. How are these two people walking around free when everyone knows they killed that girl? Social media explodes. People are demanding answers, demanding justice, demanding that the prosecutor do something. But behind the scenes, prosecutors are working. They're building a case. They're gathering evidence. They're interviewing witnesses. They're working with the FBI, Michigan State Police, and Detroit Police to make sure that when they file charges, those charges stick. See, here's the thing about murder cases. You only get one shot. If you charge someone with murder and you lose at trial, that person walks free forever. Double jeopardy. You can't try them again. So prosecutors have to be absolutely certain they have enough evidence to convict before they file charges. They have to dot every I and cross every T. They have to build an airtight case. And that takes time. Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy and her team are meticulous. They're reviewing phone records. They're analyzing the timeline. They're talking to the man who moved the bin. They're examining the autopsy report. They're looking at everything. They're also likely trying to figure out exactly what happened in that house on April 5th. Who killed London? Was it Jalen acting alone, with Charla helping after the fact, or did they both participate in the murder itself? These are crucial questions because the charges depend on what the evidence shows. October 16, 2025, 6 months after London's body was found, 6 long months of her family waiting for answers, waiting for justice. Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy holds a press conference. She announces murder charges. Jalen Pendergrass, 23 years old, is charged with second-degree murder and tampering with evidence. Charla Pendergrass, 49 years old, is charged with the exact same crimes. Let that sink in. A mother, a 49-year-old woman, charged with murdering her son's 17-year-old ex-girlfriend. Prosecutor Worthy makes a statement to the press. She says, "The evidence shows that defendants Jalen and Charla Pendergrass allegedly committed the homicide of Ms. London Thomas. I am proud of the excellent work that has been done in this case. It has taken countless hours of investigation and diligent work, by the Michigan State Police, the Detroit Police Department, and the FBI. As a result of that work, we have been able to charge and bring the perpetrators of this cruel and deadly crime to justice. Arrest warrants are issued, police move in, both Jalen and Charla are taken into custody. This time, they're not getting out. October 17, 2025, one day after the charges are announced, Jalen and Charla appear in court for their arraignment via Zoom. They're being held at the Wayne County Jail. The judge reads the charges: second-degree murder, tampering with evidence, the evidence against them, the seriousness of the crimes. Then comes the bond hearing. For Jalen Pendergrass, the prosecutor argues that he should be held without bond. He's a flight risk. He's a danger to the community. He murdered his 17-year-old ex-girlfriend and tried to hide her body. The judge agrees. Jalen is denied bond. He's staying in jail until trial. For Charla Pendergrass, the situation is slightly different. She's not accused of being the primary killer. She's accused of helping her son commit murder and then covering it up. But the judge isn't going easy on her. The judge notes that Charla engaged in an extended campaign to lie to police. When she was first questioned after London's disappearance, she helped dispose of a body. She called someone to move that bin knowing full well what was inside. Her bond is set at $5 million cash. $5 million. That's not a typo, that's not a mistake. The judge is sending a message. If you help your son murder someone, if you help hide the body, if you lie to police for months while a family searches for their missing daughter, you're going to pay. Charla can't afford $5 million. She's staying in jail too. Let's break down what these charges actually mean, because the legal terminology can be confusing. Second-degree murder in Michigan is defined as a killing that's intentional but not premeditated. It means you killed someone on purpose, but you didn't plan it out in advance. Maybe it happened during an argument. Maybe it happened in the heat of the moment, but you meant to kill them. First-degree murder requires premeditation. It means you planned the killing ahead of time. You thought about it, you prepared for it, you executed your plan. The fact that Jalen and Charla are charged with second-degree murder suggests that prosecutors believe London's death wasn't planned in advance. It happened during whatever confrontation occurred at that house on April 5th. But here's the key point. Second-degree murder in Michigan carries a penalty of life in prison or any term of years. That means if convicted, Jalen and Charla could spend the rest of their lives behind bars. Tampering with evidence is exactly what it sounds like. It means you destroyed, concealed, or altered evidence related to a crime. In this case, it means they hid London's body. They sealed it in a bin. They had it moved to another city. They tried to make sure police never found her. Tampering with evidence in Michigan carries a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison. If Jalen and Charla are convicted on both counts, they're looking at life in prison plus 10 years. Their lives are over, and rightfully so. But here's what's driving everyone crazy. We still don't know why. What was the motive? Why did Jalen and Charla kill London Thomas? Prosecutors haven't revealed that information yet. They're saving it for trial. The evidence will be presented during the preliminary examination and then eventually at trial if the case goes that far. But right now, we're left with questions. So many questions. Was London pregnant? That's one theory floating around online. Did she tell Jalen she was pregnant and he panicked? Did he decide he couldn't handle being a father and killed her to avoid that responsibility? Did London know something? Did she have information about Jalen or his family that could get them in trouble? Was she threatening to go to police about something? Was there an argument that spiraled out of control? Did Jalen lose his temper and kill her in a fit of rage? And did Charla help him cover it up after the fact? Or is the truth even darker? Did Jalen and Charla plan this together? Did Charla help her son commit the murder, not just cover it up afterward? We don't know, not yet, but eventually the truth will come out. Let's talk about Charla Pendergrass for a minute, because her role in this case is what makes it truly shocking. We expect partners to sometimes harm each other. We expect boyfriends and girlfriends to have conflicts that tragically turn violent. It's horrible, but it happens. But a mother helping her son murder his girlfriend, that's a whole different level of evil. Charla Pendergrass was 49 years old when this happened. She's not some teenager who doesn't understand consequences. She's a grown woman, a mother, someone who should know better. When her son allegedly killed London, Charla had a choice. She could have called 911. She could have tried to save London's life if there was any chance she was still alive. She could have told police what happened and let the justice system handle it. But she didn't. Instead, according to prosecutors, she helped. She helped dispose of the body. She called a friend to move the bin. She lied to police when they came asking questions. This is what psychologists call enabling. When a parent covers up their child's crimes, they're not protecting them. They're enabling destructive behavior. They're teaching their child that actions don't have consequences, that mommy will always be there to clean up the mess. But this wasn't a mess. This was murder. This was a 17-year-old girl's life. And Charla chose her son over doing what was right. London's stepfather, Darnell Johnson, spoke to reporters after the charges were announced. His words are absolutely heartbreaking. "I hope it was worth it in your eyes, because your life is over with. Harming a child, taking their life, that's beyond being a parent, that's just straight evil." He's right, this goes beyond parental protection. This is evil. London's family had to wait 6 months for these charges. 6 months of knowing that Jalen and Charla were walking around free while their daughter was dead. 6 months of seeing them go about their lives while London was buried. They had to plan a funeral while the people who killed her were posting on social media. They had to grieve while those people were sleeping in their own beds. The pain that London's family has endured is unimaginable. They lost their daughter, their sister, their loved one, and then they had to watch the justice system move at a crawl while the killers went free. But now, finally, there's movement. Finally, there are. We need to talk about the age difference between Jalen and London, because this is something that gets overlooked in cases like this, but it's crucial. Jalen was 23, London was 17. That's a 6-year age gap. And while 6 years might not seem like much when you're talking about a 30-year-old and a 36-year-old, it's enormous when you're talking about a teenager and an adult in their 20s. At 17, London was still in high school. She was still living with her parents. She was still figuring out who she was. She was still developing emotionally and mentally. At 23, Jalen was out of school. He was working. He was an adult with adult responsibilities. The power imbalance in that relationship is massive. Jalen had more life experience, more independence, more control. And research shows that relationships with significant age gaps, especially when one partner is a teenager, are at higher risk for abuse. The older partner often uses their age and experience to manipulate and control the younger partner. We don't know the full details of Jalen and London's relationship. We don't know if there were warning signs of abuse, but the age gap alone should have been a concern. And it makes you wonder, did London try to end the relationship because she realized how unhealthy it was? Did she finally see Jalen for who he really was? And did he kill her because he couldn't handle losing control over her? Right now, both Jalen and Charla are sitting in Wayne County Jail awaiting trial. They've both pleaded not guilty. The next step is a preliminary examination. This is a hearing where the prosecutor presents evidence to a judge, and the judge decides if there's enough probable cause to send the case to trial. In murder cases, preliminary exams are crucial. This is where we'll start to hear the actual evidence. Phone records, witness testimony, forensic evidence, autopsy results, everything the prosecution has will be laid out. The defense attorneys for both Jalen and Charla will have the opportunity to cross-examine witnesses and challenge the evidence. They'll try to poke holes in the prosecution's case. They'll try to create reasonable doubt. If the judge finds probable cause, the case moves to trial, and that's when things get really intense. At trial, the prosecution will have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Jalen and Charla murdered London Thomas. They'll have to present evidence showing who killed her, how it happened, and what role each defendant played. The defense will argue that the evidence doesn't prove their client's guilt. They might claim London's death was an accident. They might blame someone else entirely. They might argue that while London died at that house, there's no proof their clients were responsible. It's going to be a battle, and it could take years to resolve. This case highlights several disturbing trends that we see over and over in true crime. First, the danger of staying connected to an ex-partner. London had broken up with Jalen. She was trying to move on, but she went back to his house that night, and it cost her her life. If you're in a relationship and you're trying to leave, cut all contact, block their number, block their social media, don't go to their house, don't meet up one last time, because that's when things turn deadly. Second, the importance of recognizing red flags, the age gap, the power imbalance. These are warning signs that a relationship might be unhealthy or dangerous. Third, the role of family members in covering up crimes. Charla Pendergrass allegedly helped her son hide a murder. She put her loyalty to him above justice for a 17-year-old girl. And now she's facing life in prison because of it. Parents need to understand that protecting your child doesn't mean covering up their crimes. It means holding them accountable. It means teaching them right from wrong. It means not enabling destructive behavior. If your child commits a crime, the loving thing to do is let them face the consequences. That's how they learn. That's how they grow. Covering up a murder isn't love, it's complicity. As of now, both Jalen and Charla Pendergrass remain in Wayne County Jail. They're awaiting their preliminary examination, which will determine if there's enough evidence to proceed to trial. If convicted of second-degree murder, they face life in prison. If convicted of tampering with evidence, they face up to 10 years. The evidence against them appears strong. Police have the tipster who moved the bin. They have forensic evidence from the SUV and the bin itself. They have autopsy results showing London died of asphyxiation. They have phone records. They have the timeline of events. But the case isn't over yet. The defense will fight. They'll challenge the evidence. They'll try to create reasonable doubt. This is going to be a long legal battle, and London's family will have to sit through all of it. They'll have to hear the details of how their daughter died. They'll have to relive the trauma over and over again. But they're strong, they're resilient, and they're determined to see justice done. If you're watching this and you're in a relationship with someone who scares you, please listen to me. Leave, get out, tell someone, ask for help. Don't think it'll get better. Don't think you can change them. Don't think they'll stop being controlling or violent or abusive. They won't. London Thomas probably thought she'd be safe once she ended the relationship with Jalen. She probably thought that walking away meant the danger was over. But it wasn't, and now she's dead. If you're being threatened, if you're being harassed, if you're being controlled, reach out. Call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. Talk to a trusted friend or family member. Go to the police. Don't go back, don't meet up one last time. Don't think you owe your ex-partner closure. You owe them nothing, you owe yourself everything. Stay safe, stay alive, get help. London Thomas should be alive right now. She should be graduating high school. She should be thinking about college or a job or whatever dreams she had for her future. But she's not, because a 23-year-old man and his 49-year-old mother decided she didn't deserve to live. This case is evil, pure evil, and I hope Jalen and Charla spend the rest of their lives in prison thinking about what they did. Rest in peace, London Thomas. You deserved so much better. You deserved to grow up. You deserved to chase your dreams. You deserved everything. Your family loves you. Your community remembers you, and we're all rooting for justice in your case. To everyone watching, if this case affected you, drop a comment below, share your thoughts, and subscribe for updates when this case goes to trial, because we'll be covering every single development. Hit that like button if you want to see justice for London, and stay safe out there. This is the murder of London Thomas, and her story will not be forgotten.